Hey, it is your buddy, Peace and Harmony with you here today. Much love going out to all the beautiful empowered harmonizers. And we are zooming in and focusing in a little bit more in depth on a great viewer question. And that is, how does a narcissist sort of control through altruism? Is there a way that they do this? When we talk about someone who is narcissistic, we're talking about someone who has a penchant really for controlling others, controlling really how the relationship goes, how it navigates, controlling the future of the relationship. And they will do this really through sort of withholding of communication or withholding of facts, or what seems to be an absence in the relationship, which you might consider altruism. Altruism meaning doing everything for somebody else, just sort of having a lack of being very selfless. And a narcissist can appear to be selfless in a relationship through lack of presence. So I think this is a really great and interesting viewer question, because it really gets to part of the heart of withholding information, withholding communication, being sort of on the fly, just sort of not sharing certain pertinent, relevant, normal information with you, like what they do for a job, what they want in their free time, what their preferences are, what their interests are, what their entertainment is, what their deepest concerns, especially when we talk about a marriage. There has to be a certain degree of emotional nakedness. In other words, the front has to be able to come down. I'm really concerned about this. I'm concerned about that. This is going on with my health. This is going on with my energy. This is going on with my income. This is going on with my emotions. This is going on with my future desires. This is going on with my need for education. This is going on with my need for instruction on how to do something, on how to cook, on how to raise a child, on how to pay your bills, etc. So there comes a certain point where you have to have just sort of a foundation of openness, not just based on trying to impress your spouse or impress your family member, and just sort of withholding. In other words, you only see a specific, part of me. If you try to withhold, if you try to hide, eventually the other person in the relationship is going to have to become like a super sleuth. They're going to have to find out, that there's something more. There's something else. There's more than meets the eye. I get a sneaky suspicion that it's not all as it appears. It's not all as it seems. This is, a normal human instinct, I feel, that people are able to pick up when something isn't all communicated. You have a gut sensation, and this oftentimes can be derived through the awareness that this person is either flustered, stressed out, anxious, sort of, buttoned up too much, buttoned up in the heart, buttoned up through their communication, buttoned up with their thoughts. You feel that you're just not getting the full picture with them, that you can't really, that there's more than meets the eye. And this can oftentimes be a narcissist who, is acting just sort of altruistically. In other words, it's for your own good that I'm not honest with you. It's for your own good that I don't share this with you. It's in your best interest that, da 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 da. And really, you're not being communicated with. But according to the narcissist, because they're really operating out of what they can get away with. A narcissist, like a viewer so aptly stated, and we discuss here, that the narcissist can be with themselves and their interests very much like an alcoholic is, binge drinking, drinking when it's not very healthy, and the alcoholic will oftentimes also, exhibit pathological lying and hiding behaviors, the way that they hide their drink, the way that they hide their outings, the way that they hide their hangovers, drinking the hard stuff. I mean, it's an alcoholic will just drink to keep themselves normal, to keep themselves from shaking, and just sort of see what they can get away with. In other words, they push the boundaries, they push the limit, they push the edge, and they think that, they're outsmarting everybody else, that they're so good at hiding. The narcissist, and I agree, and I've, positioned this here, and we've discussed this here on the channel, that the narcissist is a similar way in that they want to see what they can get away with. Their sense of entitlement, and it's basically being very disrespectful. And even though it's not overtly disrespectful, it's what we call covertly disrespectful. It's, it's beyond sort of your awareness. It's under the slide, under the radar. And they just sort of, see what they can get away with. It's a pathological sense of self-importance coupled with a lack of empathy. So, in other words, being insensitive to the fact that it would be beneficial, normal, and healthy, and important, and crucial for you to share specific information with people who you are in a relationship with. Why would you want to hide specific things? You are just building up a wall. You're basically, not letting it all out. You're acting out of duplicity and deception. And so a narcissist will keep a facade. And it's very difficult. It takes a lot of energy to keep up a facade. When we talk about people who are psychopathic, a lot of people just can't even fathom the amount of energy that it keeps to live a double and triple life. Dating multiple people, exposing people to health issues because of this, hurting others because of their time commitment and the fact that, that they lie. I'm at a work convention. I can't do this. I can't be here for your birthday. We've got, a work convention. I've got something out of town. I can't make it. Too many of these, start to show up. And the narcissist will resort to lying and sort of this evasiveness. What comes across then and can be positioned by some narcissists as altruistic, meaning it's phrased like it's in your best interest, when that is really could be further from the truth. You need to be keyed in. You need to be clued in. You need to be communicated with, especially in specific things that impact you directly. In other words, what you're left holding in your, what you're left holding, what you're left with in terms of your relationship needs not being met. They're not there to co-parent. They're not there to be intimate. They're not there to be a companion. They're not there for fellowship. They're not there for sharing, but they might be there for certain things. I'm paying the bills, or, I did this and this. I was there for you to assist you in your specific, era of your life. I was your shoulder. I, was your outlet. And so they might feel that, if they were that at one point in your life, that is enough, and that it gives them free reign to do and mistreat. So they sort of make this calculation in their mind. It's a miscalculation, and it can be very hurtful and very disrespectful, and really sort of, take away from the buoyancy and ability to survive a relationship, to survive, let alone thrive. You have to have that buoyancy. You have to be able to come clean with each other and be, rigorously just, even though you might feel ashamed, you have to have a heart to heart, a coming to heart, a, coming to reality. And this is not as scary. Oftentimes it's going to give you the energy and the liberation that you're looking for, but the narcissist does not want to face that. They're very much into promulgating, they get a lot of energy sort of from the hiding. I think it gives them just sort of this secrecy energy, if you will, that keeps them going, but keeps others not going. And so it can take a long time and put a lot of undue pressure and burden on others to try to figure it out. Figure out where they are, figure out where the relationship is, figure out if they're going to be there in the future. Where are we headed? So there can be this sort of waffling or floundering feeling, or feeling like the relationship is doomed, or, a sense of fear, that we're not going to make it. And so the fear and then develops into paranoia, concern, you begin to feel, self-suffocating. In other words, you don't have a chance to communicate. So this can be very detrimental. So, yes, the narcissist can definitely sort of have that sort of altruistic excuse, which is important that you realize that you have, the need and the right to be communicated with, especially in specific things that you need. If you're in a marriage, sharing the finances, sharing your future desires, your future plans, retirement, travel, handling, your family as it grows. These, your children are going to have needs. You're going to need to come together to discuss how you feel about things, how you're going to handle things, how you're going to handle education, religiosity, financial planning, all sorts of, education, spiritual development, relationship development together as a couple, health, how you're going to handle health. If one of you has a health issue, is the other going to step up? All these need to be sort of explored. And for couples, it should be an adventure. It should be sort of exciting. It should be somewhat even thrilling, to solve this together. And let's explore. Let's see what resources, let's see what we can learn, So there has to be this joy of learning that is, part of a functional relationship. In other words, we handled this, let's move on. And then we can go here, let's be rewarded. And let's, so there has to be a degree of reward, challenge and reward in the relationship. If it's too altruistic, the relationship can feel very unrewarding and very sort of just sort of have a de-escalating feeling, or it can feel very uninspiring, very burdensome, very much like the mundane. It can feel like you're just caught up in a day-to-day. It doesn't have any passion. And so if you're in a relationship with a narcissist who's sort of on the covert side, or the altruistic side, and it's just sort of in this way, you oftentimes then people then live in a denial. They live in a cognitive dissonance. They're not able to sort of express out and work out their feelings. They just sort of, if you bury it away, it's going to come bubbling to the surface. And you do have a need to grow. You have a need to, in other words, to be able to do new things, learn new things, go new places, try new things, evolve, adapt, and adjust, and be resilient. And this is growth. To be stagnant in a relationship is a horrible feeling. And a relationship with a narcissist can get pretty stagnant when you're stuck in this withholding of information phase of your own life journey, and then really the crossroads of that relationship. So thank you for your question. This is your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today. And I hope that these videos do help. Please share, please subscribe, and please donate for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support. Peace out. Have a beautiful day.